Okay, let's dive straight into this explainer. We're going to demystify the black box of artificial intelligence today. Because if you've ever stared at a screen, totally baffled as to why an AI completely missed the mark on what seemed like a super simple request, well, you're definitely not alone. We're going to uncover exactly why your prompts might be falling flat, and way more importantly, how you can fix them. It's basically the big question we all face when the output just doesn't match our intentions. Does AI actually understand what you mean or only what you write? We kind of assume that because AI sounds so amazingly human, it can read between the lines, right? Like it can just guess what we really want. But spoiler alert here, it absolutely can't. So today, let's find out how to take absolute control of these tools by actually engineering our intentions, rather than just crossing our fingers and hoping the AI will guess them. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We've got 1. Why AI misunderstands you. 2. How AI actually thinks. 3. The power of specificity. 4. Building the perfect prompt. And finally, 5. Advanced prompting techniques. Let's jump right in. Section 1. Why AI misunderstands you. We've all been there, frustrated by generic or just totally unhelpful results. But there's this great quote that hits the nail on the head. The reason most people get mediocre results from AI isn't technology. The input wasn't good enough. It's exactly like looking in a mirror. If your input is lazy, the AI is literally just going to reflect that laziness right back at you. The problem usually isn't some weird glitch. It's just that AI is vastly better at strictly following your direct instructions than it is at making assumptions about what you actually meant to say. Think about it like this. A vague prompt always equals a vague answer. Unlike a human coworker, an AI isn't going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I don't quite get what you're asking for here. Can you clarify?" It never pushes back. It just spits out its best guess. And a best guess based on a vague prompt is, well, it's always going to be a vague answer. For example, if you don't tell the AI exactly who the reader is, it defaults to writing for no one in particular, which is exactly what the output ends up sounding like. Section 2. How AI actually thinks. To actually fix this misunderstanding problem, we've got to peel back the curtain and look at how a large language model actually thinks. So traditional software is deterministic, right? You put in an equation, you get the exact same answer every single time. But LLMs are stochastic. They're essentially these massive probability machines. The crucial thing to remember is that AI doesn't genuinely understand you. It just relies on surface-level semantics to predict the most likely next word or token based on its training data. It generates text one single probable token at a time. And because these models rely so heavily on keywords to calculate those probabilities, we hit this fascinating thing called the don't paradox. Basically, telling an AI not to do something can paradoxically increase the chance it actually does it. If you say, "Don't use jargon," the mere presence of the word jargon mathematically increases the likelihood of the AI generating it. It's crazy, but that's why using positive do statements is always way, way more reliable. Section 3. The power of specificity. Now let's look at how changing just one sentence, or even a few words, can drastically transform your output. Look at the incredible contrast here. On the left, write about leadership. Super vague. On the right, write a 300-word summary of transformational leadership principles for university administrators. That highly specific prompt automatically adjusts the AI's vocabulary, its choice of examples, and the entire depth of the explanation, all without needing any extra standalone instructions. You're literally just narrowing the probability distribution of what words it chooses next. And what's really wild about this is that research shows adding this level of specificity reduces interpretation variance by 60 to 80% across different runs. 60 to 80%. That means your results become massively more consistent and predictable just by being totally explicit about what you want. Plus, specificity doesn't just help with formatting, it actually balances the output entirely. This visual from ETH Zurich proves that expanding your prompt with details and neutral, open-ended questions can effectively neutralize single-track thinking or bias in the response. It essentially forces that probability machine to weigh multiple perspectives instead of just falling down one narrow rabbit hole. Section 4. Building the perfect prompt. Since we now know AI relies completely on structure and probability, let's look at how to build a rock-solid foundation for every request. Here is your 4-part prompt formula. First, role. Asking the AI to think like a specific expert immediately sets the tone and depth. Second, task. State a single, clear goal. If you try to give an AI multiple complex tasks in one prompt, its probability distribution fractures and it totally loses focus. Just stick to one core task per prompt. Third, context. Paste in your constraints and background details. And finally, format. Out of those four parts, setting the format is absolutely the ultimate fix you need to build into your habits. Formatting up front is vastly superior to post-processing. Don't just wait to see what it generates and then ask for a rewrite. Tell it right out of the gate. Give me a table, 5 bullets, keep it under 120 words. That guides the model's structure before it even generates the very first token. Nailing the audience is a huge part of that context too. I mean, explaining a complex concept to a C-suite executive requires completely different framing, analogies, and depth than explaining that exact same concept to a junior developer. So always identify the reader, set the expertise level, and dictate the tone to narrow that AI's focus and eliminate generic outputs.
Section 5. Advanced Prompting Techniques.
Let's level up a bit. Did you know the actual order of your instructions can drastically affect the response? Look at this classic chain of thought math example. The AI completely messes up the math when asked directly. But if you just add the phrase, "let's think step by step," the AI magically calculates it correctly. It forces the model into sequential reasoning, calculating each token based on the previous logical step, rather than just jumping to a highly probable but totally mathematically wrong conclusion. Here is your ultimate prompt taxonomy cheat sheet. Good prompts balance context with constraints. By treating your prompts like modular, testable code, moving from simple, zero-shot instructions to few-shot examples where you show it the pattern, you build a really powerful, reusable prompt library. You stop reinventing the wheel and start deploying highly successful interactions instantly. And if you're ever stuck, you've got to try reverse prompt engineering. It's a real game changer. Since AI models are pattern recognition machines, if you find an amazing piece of content, you can actually feed it to the AI and just ask, what prompt would generate content exactly like this? It will literally hand you the perfect prompt to reverse engineer that exact hidden structure, tone, and pacing. No more guessing. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you still expecting the AI to guess your intentions, or are you ready to actually engineer them? Remember, you are in the driver's seat of this stochastic machine. The quality of your prompt dictates the quality of your output, for sure. So the next time you get a frustrating, generic response, you have to ask yourself, did the AI actually fail, or did you just fail to engineer your intent?